Here we are back with ForeverFootballShow.com. We have here with us Thiago Silva, the superstar celebrity from Brazil, soccer player, and of course, as usual, Alberto Sutton, and with me, Aaron Lane. Let's talk about the World Cup. We have here, we can do the show, cry in Portuguese, if you will. I'll start with Aaron, because Aaron was cheering for Holland, so let's give him a chance, and then we cry all the way out to the rest.
If he's cheering for Holland, I'm going to sit a little bit to the side. Because
How did you see the game, Aaron? Did you think that Holland won or Brazil lost?
I think a little bit of both. I was a little disappointed with Brazil. I mean, coming into the game, looking forward to probably the game of the tournament. And I think Brazil didn't really show up as much as I thought. They'd been fantastic up to that point, and the first half was all Brazil, admittedly, and I think they just kind of broke down a little bit after the own goal and of course Felipe Melo's red card.
Officially, it was not an own goal. It was 2 goals for Schneider.
I know.
Here's one thing that we were talking to some friends and Thiago as well. There were other games, Brazilian games, or other times that we were disqualified from the World Cup. That was very emotional. This game was not emotional at all. The momentum swing was so decisive that it didn't give any hope at a certain point. The first half, it looked easy. We had a goal, we had a cancel goal, and all of a sudden the momentum swung so fast. Of course, merits to Holland that created the pressure points to provoke the mistakes. But the momentum was switching so fast that all of a sudden I had no hopes at all. So it was not one of the things, come on, keep going. No. It was, okay, great, 1-1, 2-1, red card, see you in 4 years.
From Brazil win to Netherlands win. Huh? Just from Brazil win, you're sure of the game to you were sure you were going to win.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
After the first goal, I was already pretty sure. After the first goal.
And I might add, the Netherlands star defender, Tyson, I think his name is, was injured in the warm-up, and so his replacement, Ojer, actually created that space for Robinho. Yeah.
Well, the Brazil played well the first half, no question about it. It could have killed the game with a little bit more pressure, even without. They were not running. They were. I think they relaxed right after the goal. There was another play, a beautiful play with Kaká. Robinho passed the ball. Kaká, beautiful defense. Like that was
Luis Fabiano, from Luis Fabiano to Kaká.
That was that save.
He finishes pretty well. He finishes on trying to go to the top corner, and the keeper saved it. Like
brilliant.
I couldn't believe it.
And that solved a lot of people said that was the turning point for the Dutch. Was that save?
I agree. Well, there was also a moment that Kaká, I thought it was a penalty against Kaká. He was getting in the area. The guy gave a scissor cut in his legs, and nobody even commented about it. But Brazil was feeling so confident that they didn't even complain. They kept playing as if it was, anytime we're going to score. And as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the second half, Holland was starting to give some space. That was, I think, the key for Holland not to lose the game in the first half was because they didn't change their way of playing. Many people, when play against Brazil, they start to open up and attack, and they suffer the counterattacks. And Holland didn't. Holland was patient enough.
And maybe that's the difference between this Holland team and the past Holland teams. We've seen a different mindset from them, and a different playing style certainly. And I wouldn't say that this is the best Holland team that we've seen, even in recent history. Just looking at the player names, but certainly I think they have a great mindset. And
they will go far.
Yeah.
Thiago, one thing that is being debated a lot in Brazil, of course, from the beginning was the entire, lack of experience of Dunga. But one way or another, he had a winning time with Brazil. They won the Copa America. They won the Confederations Cup. They might have picked in the Confederations Cup, and now it was already physical problems and tactical problems and so on. But I thought the turning point really, with all the structural problems, the last of the mistakes, the one that you can still fix to save the day, I thought Dunga made 2 severe mistakes. First, his attitude on the sidelines, I thought, could have probably instigated the players to be even more nervous and lose control completely. He could have pass a little bit of more tranquility to the team. And the second one, like 30 seconds before Felipe Melo got the red card, I said this guy needs to go out because he not only because he was nervous, but he was making basic mistakes. What do you think about Dunga for those two angles? Keeping Felipe Melo, a player that everybody, the UK, the London bet tables, they didn't even accept a bet that Felipe Melo was going to receive a red card in the World Cup because they thought that was a done deal. That was a 100% chance. That is not an exaggeration. So what do you think about that? Two mistakes or not?
First of all, yeah. First of all, to have a coach out there that is screaming and yelling. I mean, if you're playing, you look at the coach and the coach is, going crazy. I mean, he depending on the game, he can get you a little bit nervous because you don't know what the guy's going to do. He might pull you off at any point, So I think a little bit of tranquility from the coach. He gives the players a little bit more tranquility to play. I don't want to play with the coach that is out there just like yelling and all the time.
It's a balance, right? If the team is low, the coach has to bring the energy level up. If the team is already all hyped and nervous,
and we Brazilians have that problem. Man. We don't know how to deal with goals. So as soon as we got that goal scored on us and that horrible goal. I mean, you saw heads going down. You saw people just like, you could see that in their breathing, just like, we just screwed up. We just, So and when you see a coach out there that is going nuts too because of that, and it doesn't give you any tranquility to get that ball and go back and say, let's get the second goal. Everybody goes kind of crazy. And then players like Felipe Melo, and players that it's a little bit more tense. I mean, I'm sure, I saw that too. I say, someone is going to get a red card right now because we are too much tense. And Dunga was participating on that because Dunga was tense out there too.
Yep, he did a good job taking out Michel Bastos because Michel was going to get a second yellow card and a red card. But Felipe Melo was another obvious choice. But, in a sense, you had to take the entire team out because everybody was nervous.
Do you think part of it is on Julio Cesar as well, being the captain? Is that
Lucio's the captain.
Lucio's the captain, excuse me.
Yeah, Lucio was... I agree with you. I think Lucio disappeared a little bit. Lucio and Gilberto Silva, they are very strong leaders in the team. And they managed to keep everybody calm. You could see in other games, Gilberto Silva, because he speaks better English than Lucio as well, he also played like this buffer with a referee, and I saw them two disappear too quickly from the game. And of course, you mentioned Julio Cesar, the best keeper in the world. He gave the goal. As much as people can blame Felipe Melo,
he needs to shout about that. He needs to shout at that ball. He needs to say something. I'm here because as a defender, Felipe Melo could just get the ball out of there for sure.
Well, Julio Cesar pushed Felipe Melo and put him in a position that the ball hit him behind him. I thought it was the 100% mistake was Julio Cesar.
But when you're in the box defending, the first thing you at least me, if I'm going to the box to defend, the first thing I'm trying to hear if I'm in the goalkeeper area, it's what the keeper is going to tell me.
I actually think that he called.
If someone calls the ball, I'm out of the ball. I know the keeper is there.
But I actually think that he just didn't find the ball. He called the ball and didn't find it.
He called it too late.
It reminded me of the goal that when Brazil was playing here against Canada in Seattle, the first goal of Canada, he claimed that it was the sun. It was the exact same mistake. He went for the ball, didn't find it, goal. It was even more ridiculous than that one.
Yeah, it was just...
But anyways, we can be here talking about, for the longest time, one way or another, 4 years from now, the World Cup is in Brazil. I actually don't have much hopes because in Brazil I think that that level of tension and desperation will be even higher, and the crowds there, they will yell at the coach and the players, and it's going to be just a big mess.
It will be, and I am against any former player to be a coach of Brazil. I think we're more successful when we don't have that coach that has played before. We're so much successful. We were champion in 2002 with Felipe Scolari. He never played the game. We were champion in 94 with Parreira. He never played the game. And we were champions in all the back times when Pelé was playing with coaches that never played the game. When you bring someone like Dunga or Zico or Leonardo or Maradona into Argentina, for example, it just brings in more pressure to an environment that is already pressure. When you're playing for Brazil, when you get to put that Brazil national jersey, you got the whole country behind you and all that pressure that comes with it. And now you bring a coach that weren't too successful, it doesn't matter. It's just bring a whole new idea to the whole thing that you have already. So don't get a former coach, a former player. Just put a coach that is a good coach but never play the game.
I agree. We'll see. we have 4 years to wait and see what's going to happen. Actually, Brazil, the next game of Brazil is against the U.S. in August in New York. But with that, we're going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back with ForeverFootballShow.com.